It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and it is indeed a pleasure to see a whole conference talking about the book that I wrote a couple of years ago. And I want to start with this observation. This is one of my favorite books, A Tale of Two Cities. And if you're well-read, you know that The Tale of Two Cities starts with that amazing phrase, it is the best of times and it is the worst of times. But this is my favorite. I love this image. This is a young girl, Ella, who is doing a biblical reenactment in Galilee. And she can follow the story of the Bible on her iPad because her donkey is Wi-Fi enabled. And I thought, wow, it's the most beautiful example of the fact that technology has become completely normal. But above all, above anything else, it has become a normality. And we're only halfway there. If you look at children, it's pretty clear. The Atlantic talks about the touchscreen generation. If I hear one more story of a parent about their 2-year-old child who can swipe, I'm probably going to throw up, but it is a reality. But still, I am endeared by this beautiful, beautiful Santa Claus letter that a young girl wrote with the Amazon URL detailing exactly what she wanted to have for Christmas. That is the new normal. Huh? And that's the reality that we have today. I was drawn into the world of technology 30 years ago when my father came home with this and connected that to the TV 30 years ago and produced that. That was a wow moment in my life. Huh? I've compared it to a swimming pool because I think we're halfway there in that new normal phase. We're just about to be thrown into the deep end of the pool, and I think the whole digital thing is a swimming pool. We've been waddling in the shallow end of the digital pool for a long time. We're now halfway in that pool, and we're about to be thrown into the deep end of the digital pool, where technology really is normal. And the question is, can you survive as well? VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The world will never be stable again, but in the new normal, you will see more and more volatility. You can't bank on certainties. You have to be an expert at managing uncertainties. Simple things, look at social, can have huge complex effects, and the end result is there is no more black and white. But if companies want to survive in this fast-changing world of VUCA, they have to adopt a very fluid strategy. And if they want to survive in that new normal, there are two things essential. One is speed, and two is agility. If you don't move fast enough, you're probably not going to survive. In many markets, what you see is there's an external clock. And in many markets, that external clock is going faster and faster and faster. But the internal clock, the rate of change inside your organization, isn't necessarily keeping pace. And if the clock on the left is ticking slower than the clock on the right, you're in deep trouble in the new normal. And let's be clear, information is crucial. Information is now flowing. Information is rich and visual, and information is the fuel of that network economy. Information is something that is going through a dramatic transformation because we used to think of information as a lake, as a pond, and we built capacity in reservoirs. But now, in the age of networks, information flows on the network, and we have to figure out how to make sense of a river instead of a pond. This is scary, because when markets turn into networks, my fundamental belief is companies will have to become networks as well. Now, think about this. If I'm right, and the outside world becomes a network, then companies will have to become networks if they want to be clever and survive. It takes a network to serve a network, and that is going to be a fundamental recreation of our old structures, if we want to survive. So let me wrap it up. Are you built to last? I loved this book when it came out 20 years ago by Jim Collins, and he described 18 companies built to last compared with 18 companies doomed to fail. The 18 companies doomed to fail, he got them all right. The 18 companies built to last, today only 4 survive. You have to radiate this out to the rest of the organization, and you have to take risk. I don't know if you're a risk taker, I don't know if you have charisma, but that's what you will need in that new normal. It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. we're now entering a world where it's not about technology anymore. It's not about devices. It's not about gimmicks. It's not about mobile phones or smartphones or tablets. It's about how it changes our behavior, how it changes our consumption patterns. The new normal is about not the Draaikugelwirbel binnen Brennraums, but about fundamentally what it does to our lives, our society, how we actually deal with that and are constantly connected to the network. But we have to fundamentally understand the patterns behind that. We have to understand the math and the algorithms. We have to understand the flow of information once these networks really become alive. And you will see that in many cases, what we have from nature is exactly the same as what you have there. For the first time, informations are magically transforming and becoming really alive. That is a golden opportunity for the age of networks.